everybody. This is the Audacious Ask, and my name is Jennifer Cramer Lewis, and I am an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. And Access Consciousness has been empowering people to know what they know for almost 30 years in 173 or 174 countries around the world. And so how do you know what you know? Well, one of the words that Access Consciousness throws around is something called awareness. And so probably your parents didn't say, hey, what are you aware of when you were a little kid? They probably just were like, hey, don't do that, or hey, choose this, or here's one of two terrible choices. You can either eat your liver or you can go to bed. Which didn't honor your awareness that one, you probably weren't tired, and two, liver tastes disgusting. Unless you're one of those strange people that actually likes liver, and then you can go ahead and eat your liver. And so what is awareness? Awareness is a sense of what your body would like to create, and what's going to be easy for you to create. And yeah, so just stepping into that. What I notice is when something is like, you know, sloggy or hard for me, or I procrastinate about it, or like a ton of different things, I'm getting the awarenesses, like the sensations in my body of things that I could create or things that I could choose, but I'm not wanting to create or choose them. And sometimes that's resistance, and sometimes it's just not a light choice for you. And yeah, so we can talk about awareness. I think it's probably going to pop up a little bit more on this podcast. Somebody making noise, so I'm going to mute them. So the first person I saw was Fiona. Fiona, what's your audacious ask?
Hi, my audacious ask this week is to double my income for October.
Yes, awesome. And so the doubled amount, is that something you've earned before ever?
It has been, yeah, before, but the last couple of months it's been a bit sticky. And okay. I was just interested in what you said there, where was there a heavy lightness around it, or was it a resistance? And I suppose what I became aware of was there's a resistance there.
Cool. So let's talk about resistance. So if you earn that, that double your income, what would that mean about you?
What would it mean about me?
No right answer.
Well, I suppose what comes up is when I actually earned more than that before, just at the start of the year. It was just that it was total burnout. Just January was the last month when actually 4 times what I'm asking at the moment.
Right.
I don't remember any of January. I was working my way out of another job. Total burnout, and I had given my notice 3 months before, wanting to leave in December, but kind of ended up having to work January, which was the busiest time of the year, and total burnout basically. Yeah. Cool.
So you've heard me talk about business elegance over and over and over and over again. So what business elegance can you choose to propel you so that you can actualize this double your income with ease? And so some of the business elegance that I love is social media planners. Like there's, I've got noise coming through on somebody's end here. Let me just double check and see everybody else is muted. Like the social media planners. I use something called Meet Edgar. And then there's Hootsuite. There's a bunch of different social media planners. I'd so much rather spend time with you guys than on the internet. So thinking about that, what are the things that you don't like doing that you can add elegance to? Tell me something that you're resisting.
This is the kicker, really. It's like there's many different income streams that I could create, and it's almost like I go into beyond when I kind of go, oh, I'm going to look at that. I know what to do on the social media. I know the simplicity of how I could do it. If there was somebody else said to me, this is what I want to create, I could actually guide them through it and go this, and this. But for some reason, I blank out. So I don't want to say I don't know what it is, but it's something there where it's like I just go to beyond even wanting to. And in the last couple of weeks, there's been lots more ideas popping, and it would be very easy to instigate them. So there's something in between those ideas and actually that first step and taking that choice.
Cool.
And that's where I'm getting stuck.
Cool. I like it. So quite often what happens is when we are making ourselves the sole person who's responsible for creating in our world, we don't have anybody, running with us or keeping an eye on us or coaching us. It tends to fall by the wayside. So who can you add to your life? Like, do you have somebody else in the same industries as you that would be somebody that you could agree to meet with? Once a week and say, hey, you know what, we need to propel each other. That's a least expensive option, and then probably the most expensive option, that I've done over and over again, is hire somebody specifically to, help me get where I need to go. So,
yeah, it's an interesting one because I could do that, but I don't think that's it. It's there. I think there's something sticking me from when I was making, I suppose, the money that I made before.
So what do you know? Put your hand on your heart and your belly button and ask your body, hey body, if I was in resistance to earning 4 times my income or even half my income at the moment, what would it be?
What I'm getting there is that I wouldn't be happy. And that's kind of the job I was in. There was a lot of bitchiness and there was a lot of bullying. And I think there's something there that's kind of, I don't want to go down that road. And it's a totally different, I'll call it industry or that I'm actually would be pursuing. So it's not like with like, but obviously there's something there which is kind of going, I don't want to get into that.
Do people who make the kind of money that you're planning on making or you will make, are they bitchy?
Well, hopefully not.
What do you know? There's no right answer. Ask your body. Does your body have a point of view?
I got a yes on that.
Okay. All right. So all oaths, vows, swearings, fealties, commitments, and contracts that you have throughout any lifetime, space, dimensions, and realities to never being a bitch, will you destroy and uncreate them?
Yes.
Good and bad, right and wrong, pod and pock, all nine, boys, shorts, and beyond. So here's the deal. Sometimes being a bitch is totally required.
Okay.
Are you willing to be a bitch if it's required?
Yes.
Yeah.
That could
really?
be fun.
100% yes?
60.
60% yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So the other 40% no. Will you revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate it?
Yeah.
Okay, good and bad, right and wrong, pod and pock, all nine, boys, shorts, and beyond. So that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And so if you've happened across me making that potty pocky stuff before, then I'm sure you probably know what that is. But if you're like, what's this lady doing? You can hop on over to theclearingstatement.com and listen to the beautiful Dr. Dane go into the clearing statement and why it works in full detail. And he's lovely to look at and lovely to listen to, and will give you a full detail of what the clearing statement is. I use the tools of Access Consciousness in my business almost exclusively. I do have some magic stuff that I also know how to do. So let's jump back into that, Fiona. So if you weren't a bitch, what could you create?
If I wasn't a bitch.
Yeah. Okay, just check into the energy. Okay, so everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yeah.
Okay, good and bad, right and wrong, pod and pock, all 9 boys, shirts, and beyonds. Now try this. If you were a bitch, what could you create?
Sounds like more fun.
It does sound like more fun. You know, like sometimes you just actually have to be a bitch. And if you have no point of view about it, then you can receive the judgments of other people. And what if they just, you know, kind of like didn't go in? You know, they just sort of slid off you and you're like, wow, I can so feel that you're thinking I'm being a bitch here. And,
I think that's probably one of the sticking points, actually, whereby in that previous role, there was a lot of judgment, and I suppose I was very aware of it, and I took it all on board, and I really struggled with that. So I think that's probably sticking me.
Yeah. So imagine if every judgment you received, tell me how much a judgment weighs in your mind. No right answer.
I got 10 stone.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Lots of it.
And how many judgments were you receiving a day?
Thousands. Yeah.
Cool. So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yeah.
Good and bad, right and wrong, pod and pock, all 9 boys, shirts, and beyonds. And then I'm sure you probably heard me say this before, but for every judgment that we receive, $10,000 goes out of our universe.
Oh. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. So, or that we don't receive is what I mean. For every judgment that we are willing to receive and go, okay, cool, I can totally see you judging me right now. $5,000 comes into your universe.
So is that where barriers down all the time and just being a
yeah. And it's like, okay. And then when you do feel the barriers, what if you could have no point of view about those as well, Fiona? What if you're like, wow, I totally feel barriers. Whose barriers are they?
Okay. Yeah.
Because in a lot of cases, it's like, oh, they're not even mine. Cool. They're someone else's. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, cool. Maybe I could just like settle down some barriers around me and, you know, drop them into the earth. And, you know, see what that creates. You know, the industries, one of the industries you shared with us is helping people lose weight, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So there's no judgment involved in that at all.
Absolutely none.
Yeah. So having a look at that, like if each of these judgments didn't weigh 10 stone, if you could just be like, wow, okay, well, that's just a judgment over there. No right, no wrong, you know, no different than, you know, like an apple. You know, if you're just like, oh, wow, that's an apple, that's a judgment, like absolutely no point of view, then what lightness and invitation and playfulness and healing can you be for that industry?
Yeah, that's just so much lighter and so much easier.
Yeah. And, you know, if you have to kick somebody's ass and they sort of receive it, don't receive it, receive it, don't receive it, are you willing to be that person without judgment of you?
Yes.
Okay. Everything that doesn't allow it with ease, destroy and uncreate it?
Yeah.
Good and bad, right and wrong, pod and pock, all 9 boys, shirts, and beyonds. Yeah. Yeah. Because Gary was saying that, you know, he has more than a 50% success rate for people that he facilitates who would like to, that's Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, for people who wanted to change their bodies. And the industry itself, it's like almost nothing, like maybe a 2 to 3% success rate for people long term for creating the bodies that they would like to stay in and be healthy. So would you be willing to have a success rate that blows every other success rate that's created in the industry out of the water?
Yes.
Okay, anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good and bad, right and wrong, pod and poc, all nine, boys, shorts, and beyonds. Are you willing for it to be fun and light
Yes.
and playful and different and kooky?
Definitely. I like cookie.
Yeah. And, you know, what if people didn't have to know what you were doing to feel the difference of it?
That sounds good.
Yeah, good and bad, right and wrong, pod and poc, all nine, boys, shorts, and beyonds. You know, because I talk to people about business a lot, as you know. And one of my business mentors who teaches me about like the internet, and, you know, I've worked with her for 2 years. And, you know, she's changed my business dramatically. And the payoff of working with me for her is that she had chronic pain in her back, and her husband was in a horrible accident and had chronic pain, like terrible pain. And both of them have received, and they know where it comes from too. They're like, I don't know what it is, but when I spend time with you, my back doesn't hurt.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, like, what if people didn't have to know how you did stuff for it to work and to choose it?
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Good and bad, right and wrong.
Thank you.
All nine, boys, shorts, and beyonds. Right on.
Cool. Thanks a million.
You're welcome. How does it get any better? That was the audacious ask. My name is Jennifer Cramer Lewis, and you can join me live on Mondays or Tuesdays, wherever you are on the planet. And what the audacious ask is about is asking for more to show up in your life, whether that's money, lovers, creations, a life that's ease, maybe even easy. And yeah, so just come and join us on Mondays or Tuesdays. And if you're at a part of your life where you're like, well, wait a minute, I think I might need some hand holding here to have a bigger, more audacious creation, then you can find me on Facebook. My name is Jennifer Cramer Lewis. Ciao, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.